Hey, let's talk about your manager's role in your career. So let's start with just what is their role? What is their job? And if you've watched the video on the overview of the system, you'll know that the system and really all the people in it should have an objective, right? So if you look at number one on your left-hand side of the screen, you'll see that the core role of a manager is to execute the vision of the department leader in order to meet the objective of the business. Now, notice that in everything I said, there was no you in that equation. So, what they are responsible for, like their core job function, is not to manage your career or even to help you manage your career. That's in addition to above and beyond plus, right? So, their job is to dictate, tell you, advise you on what needs to be completed, to tell you when it needs to be completed, to tell you even how to complete said activities, said tasks, again, in order for the department and the business to meet its objectives. That is the core role of a manager. Most often, are not the innovators, those are leaders. They don't have the vision themselves in that role, in that capacity. Like that's not the function of what they are there to do. So, with that, I want you to know, and I want you to know so that you can be aware of and take ownership of managing your career, right? So, if it's not their job to help you manage your career, then it's yours. It has to be yours. That responsibility sits with and falls with you. Now, depending on said manager and their career objectives, the type of person they are, who they want to be in their career ultimately or in this world, they may or may not help you with that. So if we go to the core manager pink box, let's talk about some examples of what would be in their wheelhouse as it pertains to you or how they are carrying out their job functions and how it impacts you even. So their job function does say that from a career perspective, they are expected to assess how you are performing. And that's what we see when we talk about performance reviews and their feedback that they give you, right? So you want to make sure that you are getting feedback, hopefully quality feedback, before we get to reviews. Reviews are not a time to be blindsided, right? There are typically red flags, even if you're going to get a bad review before you get to that point. Don't ignore those red flags, right? Also, you probably expect, and a part of their core role is to provide clear guidance and resources, right? So that's box 3 and 4 in the green there. You want to be receiving clear guidance and actionable guidance. This may mean that you need to figure out how clear communication works that provides understanding for both you and your manager in order to make that effective. Okay, but I want to get into what we think our managers should do. And some of the things that I've heard in coaching women is they should help me get promoted, or they should see the hard work I'm doing and recognize me, and thereby, given that I'm the rock star in the team, promote me. They should provide opportunities for me to learn new things or get exposure. They should know my career goals. They should be nice. An alternative to they should be nice is that they should be respectful. They shouldn't be an asshole. They shouldn't be negative personality traits, even. A micromanager is another one that I get. They shouldn't be racist or sexist. And I want you to know that all of these are thoughts that you are having that also impacts your experience with them. Because right now, it's likely that your emotions are tied to those thoughts. And it is okay to have expectations of others, but you don't want your feeling to be tied to whether or not they do it. Because when you do that, when you have what I'll call a manual, right, a list of expectations that you have communicated or not communicated to that person, and your feelings or emotions are connected to it, they dictate your experience. They dictate when you react. They dictate how you feel, which lends itself to you feeling like they have all the power or control over you and your life. So you want to set expectations, but I want you to go through the process of doing some journal prompts. And I've added some prompts here at the bottom in the gray box. I want you to really think about what are your expectations? What are your manual? And I want you to write out a list. So just grab a piece of paper, grab your journal, and I want you to make a list of what is it that I expect from my boss. And then of those things, what of it is a deal breaker? Knowing your deal breakers help you determine in advance if this is someone that you could, should, or would work for. Versus getting in there and then determining if it's somebody you want to work for. Or at least having the understanding of what you're getting yourself into and not being at the effect of it. Okay, and then you want to say to yourself, are these lists of things that I want from this person? Are they things or beliefs that are serving me? If I have the belief that my manager should be responsible for my career, that means how much money I make, that means where I currently sit in the organization, that means the experience I'm having. By default, you have surrendered all power, autonomy, dominion over you, your results, and your experience to said manager. And if they don't even share in it, what you want to accomplish, it's going to make it very difficult for you to get there. But even if they do share in it, it does not negate your responsibility to put forth the effort, to be intentional, to communicate with them and others about what you want, where you're headed, and how you are helping the organization achieve its goal so that they can also help you achieve your goals. And then I want you to think about, have you provided them the information they need to be supportive? Have you talked to them about what you want to do? Have you asked them what is it that they want to do? Because a lot of times, if you ask them what they want to do, it is so informative. If your boss is just waiting to retire, good luck. I mean, that probably sounds bad, but if they're in that 5-year window, they are just trying to keep the wheels on the bus. They are just sitting here wanting to do the day to day. And I'm not knocking it. I'm saying if you are more than that, you have to be aware of that. You have to know that. You have to have realistic expectations of what they can provide you. Most people who are in their last 5 years do not wield a lot of power to get done things like getting people promoted. Their voice, their word doesn't hold enough weight to get that done for you. So you want to understand your manager, where they sit, what is it that they want to accomplish? Is it in alignment with yours, right? These are all journal prompts that you can write down so that you can see clearly where you currently sit, what you think about your manager. What are your deal breakers in this relationship with your manager? And are your expectations and what they are required to do in alignment? Are your expectations and what they have shown you that they are willing to do for you in alignment? And if the answer to either one of those questions is no, then it means that as the owner of your career, you have to decide what's next and take action from that place instead of waiting for them to be different, because they are too human and they have the right to their own thought. And you can get upset about that, But while we're upset about that, we're also wasting time, effort, and energy with the expectation that someone else change instead of the expectation that I change my situation. And it's more powerful to hold the expectation that you change, that you own, that you are in control of yourself, your emotions at work, your experience at work, and where you want your career to go, than saying that that is up to someone else. As always, if you have questions about your manager's role in your career, shout out me in the Facebook community, send me an email. I'm happy to help.